Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one it's captaincy model, so we'll have a quick look at the results from game week 6 and then we'll move on and look at the numbers for game week 7. So in game week 6 it was all pretty close at the top. The top 3 were split by just 0.8 expected points. Salah was top, he got 10 points, mainly just because of the penalty. Obviously that was his only return in the game. But that's why we have these players, because they are on penalties. So even if they're not too involved, there's always a route to points. Saka in second. Now, it was a bit of a roller coaster with his points. I mean, he was credited with an assist to begin with for Trossard's goal. That was chalked off, rightfully so. Trossard's shot wasn't on target, so it was definitely an own goal. So he didn't get the assist. But then he moved to 3 bonus points, and then subsequently they got taken off and he just got 1 bonus point. So just the 3 points for Saka in the end, and then Haaland on 2 points, which was pretty unlucky. I mean, well, not unlucky, but Newcastle had been terrible for the first 5 game weeks, and then they really sorted themselves out against City, so fair play to them. They were so much better in that game against City. And then Palmer obviously in 4th with his massive haul. 4 goals, all in the first half. All different as well. I mean, he scored a penalty, he scored a free kick, 2 open play goals. He really did do it all in that first half. 25 points, absolute incredible haul. It was kind of like, if you had Palmer, even if you didn't captain him, if you had Palmer, you had a pretty good week. If you didn't have Palmer or Salah, then you had a pretty poor week like myself. Bruno Fernandes, one player that I did have. The less said about him, the better, to be honest. I haven't actually updated the X-Mins part of this, so Bruno Fernandes wasn't at 67 X-minutes. But yeah, it was a bit of maybe he should have been at 67 expected minutes, to be honest. That would have been closer than the 88 that I probably had him at. So yeah, the less said about him, the better really. The fixture beforehand just looked quite good, because Tottenham play with this quite high line, leave a lot of space, and I thought that Fernandes and then players like Garnacho and Rashford would be able to exploit that, but that didn't turn out to be the case. United played absolutely terribly. Yeah, not much to say about it really. And Bomo with another 9 points, another first minute goal that was really similar, weirdly. Another kind of volley as he's on his side as much. Yeah, so he got 9 points. That was another good result. Trent with just the 1 point. That was slightly disappointing for Trent owners, but yeah, he's just great going forward. Havertz got his goal in a very weird way. He had chances throughout the whole game, to be honest. He had a volley saved by Hermansen from about 6 yards out, but the goal ended up coming by James Justin just kind of kicking the ball onto him into the goal, which that's fine for owners. Eze disappointing, and Diaz pretty disappointing this week as well. So yeah, Salah top, he got 10 points. Let's look at game week 7 now. Okay, now on to the game week 7 numbers. As you will see, Haaland is back at the top. It's pretty close between Haaland and Saka for the top spot. They've both got very nice fixtures. Saka probably has the better fixture with Southampton at home. The difference is just 0.29 expected points. Now, if you've watched these captaincy videos before, you'll know that it seems to be kind of undervaluing forwards quite a bit. I don't really know. I've had a deep dive into the kind of inputs as well. Not really sure what is causing that, but I'll keep looking and keep trying to work it out. But there is a few forwards in here anyway. Watkins shows up at number 10. Watkins in particular, Watkins and Isak are 2 that are always particularly low when I benchmark against other models. So that's an interesting one. For example, Watkins wasn't even in the top 10 last week. He played Ipswich. I was expecting him to be. I put his minutes relatively high, around 80 or something like that, similar to this week, but he wasn't included. Havertz is the other forward that's in this list at number 6. Again, that's largely fixture and minutes based. He plays Southampton at home. I've got him on 88 minutes, which seems okay, to be honest. He seems to be playing 90 minutes most games, so pretty happy with the minutes there. We've got Palmer at 3rd on 84 minutes. His subs are difficult to work out. Obviously, he's not in the European squad, so we shouldn't be seeing too much rest from him. But last week against West Ham, he was taken off very early. Admittedly, the game was completely done by that point. So maybe we will just see him being rested even more. It's not kind of enough that he only plays one game a week and doesn't play in Europe. He also maybe getting early subs, but he didn't this week. He played 90 minutes this week, I believe. So I think 84 is kind of about right. Let me know in the comments if you think I've got that wrong. But he has a home fixture against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest have been quite a good defence this year, so that's probably why he's not up there with Haaland and Saka. Salah, he's got an away fixture, which does tend to have a bit of an impact. And it's Crystal Palace, who this season haven't really been that good defensively. It's probably going off kind of more long-term things, because back end of last season, Crystal Palace defence was really good. So maybe we'll see that kind of coming into fruition a bit more in the coming weeks. But yeah, not much between Palmer and Salah in 3rd and 4th. And even Mbeumo, to be honest. Mbeumo's pretty high. Now, he's got Wolves at home, another fantastic fixture. And one thing that you know you're getting with him is minutes. He just plays all the minutes available, to be honest. He is another one of these players who's absolutely perfect to have in your team, because you know you're getting minutes, you know that he's probably going to play up top, and you know he's on penalties. And right now, Brentford have fantastic fixtures, so if you don't have Mbeumo, then do try and fit him in your team somehow. Then Gordon at 7th, he has Everton away, a pretty good fixture. Everton's defence has been quite leaky to start this season, and especially if Isak's out, Gordon will be on penalties, and he will also probably be playing through the middle. So that's probably the reason he shows up here, actually, is because I've got Isak's minutes very, very low, because Eddie Howe said that he'll probably be out until the international break. He said there's a chance that he'll play against Everton, but it's probably international break. So Gordon playing through the middle and on penalties could be very nice against Everton. Gvardiol has somehow snuck in here. I don't really know. I did double check this as well, because when I saw he was in the top 10, I went and checked all the inputs. But yeah, he shows up in here. He shows up at 73 expected minutes as well, which is even more confusing to me. Don't get me wrong, he scored last week, and he now seems to be playing in this advanced role a bit more than he was at the start of the season. Obviously, that coincided with them not having Walker available at the start of the season, so Gvardiol had to be the one that was sitting. But yeah, and we also saw that Walker, Gvardiol and Lewis can play all together, which is useful for Lewis owners of Gvardiol and Lewis. So Gvardiol looks really good going forward, but it still surprises me that he's this high up on this list. It surprises me that he's level with Trent, to be honest, given that Trent has got better minutes, and maybe he's got an away fixture and not a home fixture, but even so, we know what Trent can do. Then, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Ollie Watkins. He has been kind of creeping up this list. We don't really know the penalty situation at Aston Villa, which is one that's quite interesting. I am not convinced that Ollie Watkins will take the next penalty. I think it was more likely to be someone like Tielemans or maybe even John McGinn. But if Watkins is on penalties, then he looks unbelievable at his price. Because at the moment he's he's more expensive than the other forwards like Jackson, Havertz, Solanke, and there's probably just more value in those ones. But Watkins showing up in this top 10 is good. So yeah, Haaland top, Saka second, Palmer and Salah in 3rd and 4th. If you like this video, do hit the like button, do hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.